Playing Genshin Impact in cooperative multiplayer can be a lot of fun, but there are some restrictions in place too. Let's look at how co-op multiplayer works and what you can and cannot do with it. In order to play Genshin Impact with other players, first you have to make progress in the game and become familiar with how everything works. Specifically, you will need to reach Adventure Rank 16 before the co-op multiplayer feature will unlock. Additionally, you also have to complete the Archon quest, Prologue Act 1, the Outlander Who Caught the Wind. Once those two conditions have been met, the game will show you a message that co-op play has been unlocked. From there, you have two methods for playing with other players. Either you can host them in your game session, in which case they join your version of Teyvat to play, or you can instead join another player's session and explore their instance of Teyvat together. Up to 4 players can play together, and the multiplayer features are cross-platform compatible, which means players can play together even if they are on different game consoles, mobile devices, or PCs. However, all players must be on the same regional server, such as NA, EU, Asia, or SAR. To host or join a multiplayer game, first you have to access the co-op mode screen, which you can get to from the game's main menu. If you are the host, then you need to allow other players to join your game. To do so, open the co-op mode screen and you will see an option in the bottom corner. It may say one of 3 things: either reject join requests, allow direct join, or join after approval. Allow direct join means that any person who wishes to join your game can freely do so at any time without needing any confirmation on your part. If you are very open to meeting new players and having people come and go regularly from your play session, and you don't mind potentially sharing some of your world's limited resources with other players, you may enjoy enabling this setting. But most players would probably prefer the next option. Join after approval is usually the more helpful setting to turn on when you want to play co-op multiplayer, especially with specific people. This mode enables other players to join your world, but first you have to give the OK. A prompt appears on the screen for a few seconds whenever another player tries to join your game, and it shows their username and in-game profile image as well. You can choose to either accept or reject the join request, or alternatively, instead of rejecting it, you can simply ignore the prompt and wait until the time runs out on the request, and it will prevent them from joining. If you're wanting to play with a specific group or a particular friend, this will be the option to choose to make sure only the people you allow can join you. Finally, reject join requests means no other players are able to join your game, and you will not get any of the on-screen prompts showing players trying to join you. This is effectively the same as turning co-op multiplayer off, although it's worth noting that you can set this after a player has already joined your game too. That way, no additional players can request to join. If you have the setting enabled, not even people on your friends list will be able to join your game, so keep that in mind as well. If you are not the host, and you instead are joining another player's game, then you can search for their specific UID via the co-op mode screen. It will show their profile and allow you to request to join their world. However, there are restrictions when trying to join another player's game. The world rank and adventure rank range has to be equal to or lower than your own in order to join. To put it simply, players cannot join higher level worlds of players that have progressed further in the game than they have. Higher level players can join a lower level player's world and play together there, but not the other way around. Also, in co-op mode, the number of characters you control will change compared to single player mode. In the normal play session, you control a party of 4 characters, and in co-op, the maximum is still 4 characters. If your co-op session has 2 players, then both the host and the joining player get to choose 2 characters each from their roster. If there are 3 players, then only the host gets to control 2 characters, and the 2 joining players each control a single character. And finally, if there are 4 players in the co-op session, then each player only gets to control a single character of their choosing. Now that we've covered how to join a co-op game, let's look at the types of things you can and cannot do while playing in co-op mode. This list is not exhaustive, but it should give you a very good idea of what to expect during co-op play compared to playing the game's normal single-player mode. There are quite a few restrictions to co-op mode, and they can be loosely grouped into 3 categories. Things that any player can do, things that only the host player can do, and things that cannot be done in co-op at all. First, let's get the negatives out of the way. The following are some of the things that cannot be done in co-op mode at all. You cannot talk to the majority of NPCs, not even Catherine or the various shop owners. This is a significant loss in functionality compared to usual. You cannot progress Archon quests or character story quests. This one is very unfortunate, since it means friends cannot play through the game's main story together. You cannot activate a new Statue of the Seven to unlock more of the visible map area. You cannot pause the game by accessing the menu screen like you can in single-player mode. You cannot get passive abilities from other players' party members, unless they specifically mention working in co-op. You cannot participate in many limited-time events that are designed for single-player mode only. You cannot play the Spiral Abyss or Imaginarium Theater features with friends. At this point, you might be wondering what you even can do with all that ruled out. Let's focus next on some examples of things that can be done in co-op, but only by the host player, and not by players who join the game. Host players can interact with a variety of features, such as activating elemental monuments, opening treasure chests, picking up sigils or oculi during exploration, and obtaining items from investigation points. Host players can activate a treasure compass item, if they have one available, to assist in finding nearby treasures. Host players can enter the Spiral Abyss in a co-op session, but the feature itself is limited to being played by a single player only, unfortunately. Host players can change the in-game time of day via the menu. Host players can trigger certain happenings, such as following a Sealy or unlocking a new domain entrance. Now that all the restrictions and half restrictions are covered, let's get to the things you actually can do in co-op. Players can challenge domains, with the caveat that they must be using unique characters when doing so. This includes artifact domains, weapon materials, talent materials, and any other domains that aren't related to story progress. Players can complete leyline outcrops together for more experience books and mora. Players can battle world bosses and weekly bosses, with the exception of the Storm Terror battle. Players can also receive individual rewards from domains, leyline outcrops, and bosses by spending their own supply of original resin to claim them, just like in single-player mode. Players can complete the 4 daily commissions from the Adventurers Guild, although players will have to wait until they return to single-player mode before they can speak to Catherine and claim the full rewards. Some limited-time events are specifically designed with multiplayer co-op in mind, or have the optional ability to be played in co-op mode. These can be initiated by the host and played with others who have joined your world. Some world quests can be progressed as you explore around Teyvat, although if there are any related dialogue or cutscenes, these will typically only be shown to the host player, while joining players will see the host character standing still during the scene. Players can gather some resources together. For example, most ores can be mined and drops are given to each player, but there are some exceptions to this, such as Core Lapis in Liyue or Dracolite in Natlan. Most local specialties, however, such as plants, flowers, or similar items, are only possible for one character to collect, and the drops from these are not given to each player individually. Drops from defeating enemies in the world as you explore are given to each player individually, so players don't have to worry about sharing or fighting over these items. Players can go fishing together in co-op mode for a relaxing way to spend some time. Players can complete weekly bounty battles together, but only the host player will receive the reputation rewards for doing so. Players can heal at a Statue of the Seven, and if they are using the Traveler, they can also resonate with it to change their current element. Players can switch their active characters from the party setup menu, just like in single-player mode. Players can cook food at cooking pots if they so wish. Players can earn achievements in co-op, and in fact, there are a number of co-op exclusive achievements that exist. Players can complete open-world mechanism time trial challenges, but only the host player can start the challenge. Players can enjoy playing the Stygian Onslaught mode together. And finally, to wrap up this list, players can discover even more ways to enjoy playing the game together as new content continues to be made, as sometimes simply exploring around Teyvat will lead you to unexpected adventures. With that, you should have a good idea of what to expect from co-op in Genshin Impact, how to host a co-op session or join another person's game world, and different ways you can have fun playing together. Thanks for watching this video in its entirety. See you next time.